Non-UL listed Seal-Tite is not permitted in a Class 2 Division 2 location based on the requirements of the National Electrical Code. A Class 2 Division 2 location is defined as an area where combustible dust is not normally in suspension in the air in sufficient quantities to produce explosive or ignitable mixtures, and dust accumulations are normally not sufficient to interfere with the normal operation of electrical equipment or other apparatus, but combustible dust may be present for short periods of time. The National Electrical Code, specifically Article 500.1, requires that all electrical equipment and wiring in hazardous locations be approved for the specific hazardous location. This approval ensures that the equipment is designed and tested to prevent ignition of the hazardous material present. Using equipment that is not properly listed and labeled for the specific class and division of a hazardous location violates the NEC requirements and creates a significant safety hazard. The term Seal-Tite typically refers to flexible metal or non-metallic liquid-tight conduit, also known as liquid-tight flexible metal conduit or liquid-tight flexible non-metallic conduit. These conduits are used to protect electrical wiring in various environments, including those where exposure to liquids, chemicals, or physical damage is possible. However, not all Seal-Tite is created equal. Seal-Tite must meet certain standards to be suitable for use in hazardous locations. The Underwriters Laboratories, or UL, listing indicates that a product has been tested and meets specific safety standards. In the context of hazardous locations, a UL-listed Seal-Tite would have undergone rigorous testing to ensure that it does not become a source of ignition in an environment where flammable or combustible materials are present. For Class 2 Division 2 locations, Seal-Tite and other electrical equipment must be suitable for use in areas where combustible dust is present. This suitability includes features that prevent dust from entering the enclosure and accumulating to a point where it could overheat or ignite. In addition, the surface temperature of the equipment must be limited to prevent ignition of the dust. Non-UL listed Seal-Tite has not been subjected to these tests, and therefore its suitability for use in a Class 2 Division 2 location cannot be verified. Using non-UL listed Seal-Tite in a Class 2 Division 2 location presents several risks. Firstly, this Seal-Tite may not be able to prevent the ingress of dust, leading to accumulation and potential overheating. Secondly, the surface temperature of the Seal-Tite or any internal conductors could exceed the ignition temperature of the dust, leading to a fire or explosion. Thirdly, the Seal-Tite may not be mechanically robust enough to withstand the physical stresses present in an industrial environment, leading to damage and potential electrical faults. The specific requirements for electrical equipment in Class 2 Division 2 locations are detailed in Article 502 of the National Electrical Code. This article outlines the types of equipment that are permitted, as well as the specific installation requirements. For example, Section 502.10 details the wiring methods permitted in Class 2 Division 2 locations, which typically include types of conduit, cable, or other wiring systems that are specifically approved for use in such environments. Section 502.10, Wiring Methods, covers approved wiring methods for Class 2 Division 2 locations. These wiring methods are designed to prevent the accumulation of dust and minimize the risk of ignition. Permitted wiring methods often include rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, electrical metallic tubing, dust-tight wireways, dust-tight cable tray systems, and Type MC cable with an overall jacket. These wiring methods must be installed with appropriate fittings and seals to maintain the dust-tight integrity of the system. Cable glands and connectors used with these wiring methods must be listed for use in Class 2 Division 2 locations. These fittings are designed to prevent dust from entering the enclosure or conduit system. Flexible connections, such as liquid-tight flexible metal conduit or liquid-tight flexible non-metallic conduit, are permitted in some cases, but they must be listed and marked for use in Class 2 Division 2 locations. These flexible connections are often used for short runs where flexibility is needed for equipment movement or vibration. The use of non-UL listed Seal-Tite would violate these requirements. In addition to Article 502, other sections of the National Electrical Code also apply to electrical installations in Class 2 Division 2 locations. For example, Article 300 covers general wiring methods, while Article 310 addresses conductors for general wiring. These articles provide requirements for conductor sizing, overcurrent protection, and grounding, which are all essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of the electrical system. Compliance with these requirements is crucial for preventing electrical hazards and ensuring the safe operation of the facility. When selecting electrical equipment for use in a Class 2 Division 2 location, it is important to carefully review the equipment's markings and documentation. The equipment should be clearly marked with the class, division, and group for which it is approved. The group designation indicates the specific type of combustible dust that the equipment is suitable for. For example, Group E includes metal dusts such as aluminum and magnesium, while Group F includes carbonaceous dust such as coal and coke dust. Group G includes plastic, flyer, and grain dusts. The equipment should also be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and any applicable codes and standards. Regular inspections and maintenance are essential for ensuring that electrical equipment in Class 2 Division 2 locations remains in safe operating condition. Inspections should include checking for signs of damage, corrosion, or dust accumulation. Any damaged or defective equipment should be repaired or replaced promptly. Dust accumulation should be removed regularly to prevent overheating and potential ignition. Maintenance activity should be performed by qualified personnel who are familiar with the requirements for working in hazardous locations. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, also has regulations regarding electrical safety in hazardous locations. These regulations are designed to protect workers from electrical hazards and ensure that employees provide a safe working environment. Employers are required to provide training to workers who work in hazardous locations, including training on the hazards associated with combustible dust and the proper use of electrical equipment. OSHA also conducts inspections of workplaces to ensure compliance with its regulations. Failure to comply with OSHA regulations can result in fines and other penalties. In summary, the use of non-UL listed Seal-Tite in a Class 2 Division 2 location is a violation of the National Electrical Code and poses a significant safety hazard. All electrical equipment and wiring in hazardous locations must be approved for the specific class, division, and group of the location. The approval process ensures that the equipment is designed and tested to prevent ignition of the hazardous material present. Using unapproved equipment can lead to fires, explosions, and other serious incidents. To ensure safety and compliance, it is essential to carefully select and install electrical equipment in accordance with the National Electrical Code and other applicable codes and standards. The selection of appropriate Seal-Tite and other electrical equipment for a Class 2 Division 2 location involves a careful consideration of several factors. Firstly, the equipment must be approved for use in hazardous locations, as indicated by a listing from a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories or Canadian Standards Association. Secondly, the equipment must be suitable for the specific class, division, and group of the hazardous location. Thirdly, the equipment must be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and any applicable codes and standards. In addition to these basic requirements, there are also several other factors that should be considered when selecting Seal-Tite for a Class 2 Division 2 location. These factors include the type of dust that is present, the temperature of the environment, and the potential for exposure to liquids or chemicals. The type of dust that is present will affect the selection of Seal-Tite because different types of dust have different ignition temperatures. For example, metal dusts such as aluminum and magnesium have very low ignition temperatures, while plastic dusts have higher ignition temperatures. The Seal-Tite that is selected must be able to withstand the maximum surface temperature that is likely to occur in the environment. The temperature of the environment will also affect the selection of Seal-Tite because some types of Seal-Tite are not suitable for use in extreme temperatures. For example, some types of non-metallic Seal-Tite can become brittle and crack in cold temperatures, while others can soften and deform in hot temperatures. The Seal-Tite that is selected must be able to withstand the temperature extremes that are likely to occur in the environment. The potential for exposure to liquids or chemicals will also affect the selection of Seal-Tite because some types of Seal-Tite are not resistant to liquids or chemicals. For example, some types of metallic Seal-Tite can corrode when exposed to certain chemicals, while some types of non-metallic Seal-Tite can be dissolved or damaged by certain liquids. The Seal-Tite that is selected must be resistant to the liquids or chemicals that are likely to be present in the environment. Once the appropriate Seal-Tite has been selected, it must be installed correctly in order to ensure its effectiveness. The installation process should follow the manufacturer's instructions and any applicable codes and standards. In general, the Seal-Tite should be installed in a way that prevents the ingress of dust and protects the wiring from damage. The Seal-Tite should be securely fastened to the equipment and the surrounding structure. All connections should be tight and properly sealed. Regular inspections and maintenance are essential for ensuring that Seal-Tite in Class 2 Division 2 locations remains in safe operating condition. Inspection should include checking for signs of damage, corrosion, or dust accumulation. Any damaged or defective Seal-Tite should be repaired or replaced promptly. Dust accumulation should be removed regularly to prevent overheating and potential ignition. Maintenance activities should be performed by qualified personnel who are familiar with the requirements for working in hazardous locations. In addition to Seal-Tite, there are many other types of electrical equipment that are used in Class 2 Division 2 locations. These include motors, transformers, lighting fixtures, and control panels. All of this equipment must be approved for use in hazardous locations and must be installed and maintained in accordance with the applicable codes and standards. The selection and installation of electrical equipment in Class 2 Division 2 locations is a complex process that requires careful consideration of many factors. It is essential to consult with qualified electrical engineers and contractors to ensure that the equipment is properly selected, installed, and maintained. Proper adherence to the National Electrical Code is paramount. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, serves as the cornerstone for electrical safety in the United States. It provides comprehensive guidelines for the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. Chapter 5 of the NEC specifically addresses special occupancies, which include hazardous locations. Articles 500 through 516 detail the requirements for various types of hazardous locations, including Class 2 Division 2 environments. These articles outline the specific types of equipment and wiring methods that are permitted in each type of location, as well as the installation requirements that must be followed. Compliance with the NEC is not only a matter of safety, but also a legal requirement in many jurisdictions. Failure to comply with the NEC can result in fines, penalties, and even criminal charges. Therefore, it is essential for anyone working with electrical equipment in hazardous locations to be thoroughly familiar with the NEC requirements. In addition to the NEC, there are also other codes and standards that may apply to electrical installations in Class 2 Division 2 locations. These include the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, standards, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, regulations, and local building codes. The NFPA standards provide guidance on fire protection and prevention, while the OSHA regulations address workplace safety. Local building codes may have additional requirements for electrical installations in hazardous locations. It is important to consult with local authorities to determine which codes and standards apply to a specific project. In conclusion, the use of non-UL listed Seal-Tite in a Class 2 Division 2 location is a serious violation of the National Electrical Code and poses a significant safety hazard. All electrical equipment and wiring in hazardous locations must be approved for the specific class, division, and group of the location. The approval process ensures that the equipment is designed and tested to prevent ignition of the hazardous material present. Using unapproved equipment can lead to fires, explosions, and other serious incidents. To ensure safety and compliance, it is essential to carefully select and install electrical equipment in accordance with the National Electrical Code and other applicable codes and standards. Ignoring these rules puts people and property at risk. Always consult with qualified professionals to ensure electrical safety.